welcome to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Hi, you guys. Good evening. I'm so glad that you are all here and tuned in and that you keep finding the show and sharing the show and talking about it. That is what is so wonderful. And what's so great about this platform is that we're getting to really dig in and talk to people that I don't normally get to talk to, that I've always wanted to. So basically, I'm using the show to get friends. And I think that's, at least I'm being upfront and honest. Because our guest tonight is someone that I absolutely adore and really think the world of, but I can't not think of what my life would be if I didn't have this person's, let's say, product in my life. The man that we will be interviewing does a very specific thing in the clothing realm of the world. And I have to be honest, I am not really into fashion, which I don't think anyone's shocked. I think everyone's like, no kidding. Whereas Taylor is super into fashion.
What?
It's a joke, Taylor. It was called sarcasm. Yeah, with his greatest grandpa hat. But what I wanted to ask you, sir, when you were little, again, I love talking about when we were little. So for you, this is last summer. I know, really and truly, you never were. Did you have something that you always wore? Like, were you that kid that had like a Superman cape and you were the kid that always wore the Superman cape? Or did you always have like a sweater? Or did you have like short shorts because you were a kid in the 90s? What were you, a kid in the 90s? I was in the 80s. You were in the 90s.
Yeah. I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s. We had all the bad stuff that is now cool.
I wore one hat. It was a Houston Astros hat from opening day. I was at opening day, the first day of what was then called Enron Stadium.
Oh,
so
you were at the very first game of Enron Stadium?
I was at the last regular season game of the Astrodome. I was at the last playoff game for the Astrodome when they lost in the playoffs. I was at the first game ever, like a preseason game at Minute Maid, Enron Field, and I was at the first regular season game. My aunt and uncle had season tickets, so I got to go to a lot of games growing up.
Have you gone to the World Series?
No, I've never been to the World Series. Those cost a lot of money, and I wasn't invited.
Well, they did that. At one point, they did like a raffle. I don't know, the first time the Astros made, because we never thought we'd make it in again. I don't know if you remember that. That was in 2005.
No, I had to earn everything I've worked for.
Well, they did it for the city, and it was only like, the tickets were only like $75. Like, it wasn't crazy. And they were trying to do it so everybody could go.
Let's let the common folk in.
I had a 2-year-old. So I was young. I was like 27. We did not have any money to our name at that time, and we did not win a raffle. But we
no money to your name then. I kind of feel like you had more money than I do now.
No, stop, Taylor. You are so ridiculous. You got to find older friends. And anyway,
all my friends are old.
They are.
You're all old.
We're all the same age. You pick the same vocation and age of all your friends. You really need to branch out, Taylor. But yeah, so we got to do the World Series, and we were in debt because of it. Like, we put it on credit cards. We did not have the money for the tickets. We bought the $900 tickets, which 2 seats.
Please tell everyone the profession of your husband right now.
Not then. He wasn't then. But so here we were with these $900 seats.
You're not going to answer the question?
No, I'm not going to answer the question. But our kid was, now he owns his own financial firm. This is why he's so good at what he does, because of the mistakes we made in our early 20s. But now he's really fantastic. But back then he had no clue. So we go to the thing, and you could bring a kid under the age of 2. So Zach had just turned 2 in January, and when is the World Series?
Not October? January. Yeah, it's in October.
Oh, so maybe he was going to turn 2 in January. That's what it was.
A 3-year-old.
No, we didn't bring a 3-year-old. No. He was going to turn 2 in January. So we were just getting by. So he sat in our lap. So the 3 of us got to go to the World Series for $1,800, when $1,800 was like,
couldn't feed Zach for 3 weeks.
We couldn't. But the kids go to the World Series. And now that we could go to the World Series, we choose not to go. We don't go.
But people wonder why I hate you.
The thing that no, we couldn't go. We're not gonna spend $900 for a seat for a game. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That was stupid. That
Buy
was
them for me.
well, sure, I would give it to you. But here's the dumb thing we did besides that was that we got the I bought the parking pass. Somebody sent an email saying, "Hey, you could get the parking pass for the World Series for $175." $175. And I said
$1.75?
$175. And I thought that's a great deal. And how thoughtful for me to go ahead and think of parking and not ask Nathan. So I buy the ticket. When we get there, do you know what was very much available all around?
Oh yeah. I was about to say, like, there are like dozens of bars in the Houston downtown that you can park at the bar, drink at the bar. They will shuttle you to and from the place for free.
For free.
Tip the guy $1.75 and you
Right.
can have parking.
It's so true. It's absolutely so true. It's so, I mean, and I'm not kidding. And Houston is so different than other downtowns. We're the fourth largest city in the nation, and we don't have the parking meters and the paid parking that we can park on the streets all the time. Like it's not. It really weirds me out when we go out to other cities.
Hold on.
Wait, what? What did I say?
Anyone from Houston listening, it's like there are parking meters literally everywhere.
No, not
but
like.
here's the thing.
I'm serious.
No. There are parking meters literally everywhere in the city. You just don't have to pay for them after 6 o'clock. So during the workday, which is probably not when you've been, there's parking meters on literally
No, I'm
every
talking
place.
about, listen, I drive in New York City all the time. I drive in Stamford, Connecticut. I drive in whatever. Their parking is constant. There's nowhere you can park. Like you have to like pay constantly and the garages. Houston, you don't have to.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this. I'm telling you, Houston is amazing with the parking. But we can agree on this. I did not have to pay $175.
That is correct. That is correct. The fact that you're dumb is the thing that we can agree on.
See, such an opportunity to be kind and thoughtful, and Taylor chose
Agree to agree.
the worst. So, Taylor, what was the first sporting event that you brought your kids to, or have you? Have you brought them to professional one yet?
Yeah, our local Catholic school. Where I get in for free because I coach there.
Hey, they do like $5, hot dog nights, and we've got the Skeeters or whatever they are. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay, we brought our kids all the time to the $5 nights to the Astros. That's when
I don't live here.
That's true. I forgot. But it feels like you live here. $5. Anyway. Okay. So, but when you do, is baseball what you'll bring your kids to? Like, is that your sport? I don't even know.
It is the sport that I will take my kids to first because you could get seats for $1.
You can get, it can be very, very cheap to go to a baseball game.
Yeah.
But what is your sport? Like, what is your favorite to watch? Or,
my favorite sport to watch is football, but football is better on TV than it is in person, right?
Absolutely agree.
So
with
like
you.
I
Yes.
just went to a Lakers game in the Lakers stadium. Like that was tremendous.
That's right.
But I paid a pretty penny to get.
You could have gone to the World Series when you were 27.
Exactly. So baseball is
Baseball's
fun
really
sport
friendly.
to sit there. I heard that baseball was invented so that fathers and sons could talk to each other and bond, because men can't look at each other while they're talking and bonding. We have to be looking at something else like a baseball game for 3.5 hours. So those were the longest conversations my father and I ever had.
This was a therapy session for Taylor Schroll, everybody. Thank you for coming. That's really, actually, that makes a lot of sense now. That makes a lot of sense. And why they are so long and why that makes...
Please stop looking at me. It's making me uncomfortable.
I know, really. I was like, God, what color eyes does Taylor have?
Oh, come on. It's my best feature.
Is it?
I
mean...
Have you not seen my eyes?
I don't know.
Look into my eyes.
Wait, no, I want to know my best feature. No, don't answer that. Don't answer.
That was
there
my
is
answer.
none. Exactly. Laughing at your jokes is my best feature. That's probably true, actually. That's not bad. There could be worse.
I mean, my love isn't conditional, but the thing that I love most in people is that they love me. because it's so rare that it happens. So like my wife was interested in me. I was like, I think I love you.
Don't leave.
Yeah.
Okay, same. Yeah, that's true. I don't even know anything about Nathan, but he says he loves me. So I'm like, well, you can stick around. Although that's also true. I don't know anything. I'm the worst. Okay, so wait, I really do want to ask you this about the whole like bringing the kids and all that kind of stuff. Do you like getting the novelty things at games? Like you did, it sounds like you've gone to a lot. And they'll do those kind of things, especially at the baseball games, because they really, first of all, the reason why baseball games are so cheap is because there's 4,000 of them. Okay. Their season is forever long. There's 4,000 games. There's only like 2 football games. You know what I mean? And it's like, whatever.
All these numbers are correct. I'm not
They're
arguing about
absolutely accurate. So for baseball, they're like, we've got to give them jerseys and we've got to give them, you know, bobbleheads and like whatever, pin caps. Like, and people
this.
will.
Pin caps. Yeah. I've received many pin caps when I've attended baseball games.
Okay. It's kind of true. Did you ever get a novelty item at a game?
Yeah, all the time.
Did you really?
And we would go, and I loved collecting memorabilia.
Really?
I still have a ton of them. I still have bobbleheads from like my favorite players. Like I wore
Like who?
I wore the hats. So I have a bobblehead for like Moises Alou from way back in the day. He was like early 90s. I have a Jose Cruz one who was the first base coach for a while.
Do you remember how they would say his name when he would come into bat when he was a player?
I sure do.
How?
They would say his name just really long.
Jose Cruz. Okay, we weren't gonna do it.
Yeah, they just announced their name. Yep, that's how announcing works.
You're the worst, Taylor. It was so fun when we were little because it sounded like the crowd was booing him.
That was Alou. So for Alou, they sounded like that. I was like little boy Taylor was crying because I thought they were booing one of my favorite characters. They're like Moises Alou, and the whole crowd, ooh, and I'm like, leave him alone. He's nice.
I have his bobblehead.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that your favorite novelty item to get? Was the bobblehead? Like, is that like? Would you be like, that's the thing?
The thing that I love, because I was such a stats guy, I liked getting the like premier programs or whatever that had like all the player stats and who played what position.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a
big they were.
thing.
Oh yeah. Like so
they would give it for free. Like that was like a thing,
so
you could buy it.
I think they used to give them away for free, but then they became like magazines essentially.
I
so
see.
you would buy it, and like when I went with my aunt and uncle, like they made good money.
You have yours in a
season
sleeve.
ticket, and they would buy it for me. And my parents are moving out of like the house I grew up in right now. All of those magazines are still there. And it's like, there's no reason to keep them, but it's like, I'm getting to relive the nostalgia now as they're moving out of like, I'm seeing all this memorabilia and merchandise and stuff, like stuff that's like, I don't care who was playing on October 14th of 1989, you know, like we got to get rid of this stuff.
I was an embryo. How would I even care? Yeah, no, exactly. How old were you in 89?
The date that I said was 2 weeks before my birthday.
So you were in utero. Jeez. And I was also. Well, I love that. I think the novelty thing is kind of fun. So I have to ask, what are you going to do with all of it? Are you going to throw it away? Are you going to sell it on eBay? Are you going to save it for your kids?
We're throwing away most of the magazines, or throwing away most of the like novelty. I just don't have a place for them. It's just like, but we kept the bobbleheads. So I have like from the Rockets game, I have like a Hakeem Olajuwon bobblehead.
Yeah.
We've got Moises Alou. We've got all these guys. I still have some of the hats and stuff. So like
the
stuff that like really meant something to me, like we're keeping. But like the magazines, it's like, all right, time to go.
It's a good conversation starter. All right, well, you guys don't go anywhere because we're going to talk about more things that are great conversation starters and novelty items when we come back. You are tuned into It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison.